Good morning, everyone. I am Melvin Mina Corpuz, and you know me as Master Melvin. And our topic for today is all about the fundamental premises of Marxism. Let's begin with our discussion. This discussion includes elaboration on the fundamental premises of Marxist approach, which comprises three sections: the meaning, the critical components, and the general blueprint. Let's now begin discussing the very first phase of my discussion, which is the meaning of Marxism.
The subject literary approach is based on Karl Marx's ideology of analyzing society through the hypothetical mechanism of historical materialism. Marx conceived the concept of historical materialism in the preface of his publication Contribution to the Critique of Political Economy, and was then applied to a capitalist society in his work, The Communist Manifesto. Historical materialism analyzed the development of human societies through the involvement of material conditions instead of ideals. Marxism aimed to understand human societies with this methodology delimited in class relations and social conflicts to social reforms. In simple terms, to view the progression of human society with economics being the central subject of political and social activities, two happenings critical to social transformation. Marx's approach highlights the heavy influence of economic power on social, political, ideological realities of intentions to gain, maintain, or abolish it.
We are now in the penultimate phase of my report, which is the critical components in Marxism.
Marx's approach has three main components in its mechanism, which all interact with each other that ultimately transpires to a pivotal change in a pre-existing setting. Economic classes, termed as socioeconomic classes in Marxism, are the segregation categories for people according to their overall financial standing and capability. These are the pawns for the impending social reform dictated by an inevitable pre-existing economic divide because of social injustice, abuse of power, etc. Material circumstances are the economic conditions in which the socioeconomic classes are situated in, while the build-up conjured by that existing social climate is called the historical situation, or the shift that transpires from the material circumstances brought about by the interaction between the socioeconomic classes.
Alright, this is now the ultimatum, the general blueprint.
Marx's approach views divide in socioeconomic class, bringing far more critical changes than those situated in religion, race, or gender, as it concerns the foundation of one of the significant aspects of human existence, society. Would you agree if the notion that the divide in economic classes is more potent for reform? Why? Lois Tyson discussed the typical trajectory that the components of Marxism follow to bring about social transformation. For the real battle lines are drawn, to put the matter simply, between the haves and the have-nots, between the bourgeoisie, those who control the world's natural, economic, and human resources, and the proletariat, the majority of global population who live in substandard conditions and who have always performed the manual labor, the mining, the factory work, the ditch digging, the railroad building that fills the coffers of the rich. Unfortunately, those in the proletariat are often the last to recognize this fact. They usually permit differences in religion, race, ethnicity, or gender to separate them into warring factions that accomplish little or no social change. Few Marxists today believe, as Marx did, that the proletariat will one day spontaneously develop the class consciousness needed to rise in violent revolution against their oppressors and create a classless society. However, were the proletariat of any given country to act as a group, regardless of their differences, for example, were they all to vote for the same political candidates, boycott the same companies, and go on strike until their needs were met, the current power structure would be radically altered.
And that ends my report. But wait, Sir Melvin would like to add more information about the activity earlier. We're kind of missing some part of it, right? Kindly listen carefully to understand more about the discussed topic. Master Melvin is out.